LO.3 Uses of survival crafts during ship abandonment. Survival craft, a craft capable of sustaining the lives of persons in distress from the time of abandoning the ship. Kinds of survival crafts. Lifeboat. Life raft. 3.1 Structure and content of the survival crafts. A lifeboat. Waterborne craft of sustaining lives and person in distress from the time of abandoning the ship. Types of lifeboat. 1. Open. 2. Partially enclosed. 3. Totally enclosed. Davit launch are devices used for launching and hoisting survival crafts. Freefall launch to launching the craft with persons and equipment on board, released and allowed to fall into the sea without any restraining apparatus. Lifeboat equipment. Sufficient buoy and oars. 2 buckets. 1 compass pinnacle. 1 sea anchor. 2 painter line. 2 hatches. 3 liters of water, person. 1 rust-proof dipper with lanyard. First aid kit. 6 doses of anti-seasickness. 1 waterproof electric torch. 1 signaling mirror. 1 copy of life-saving signals. 1 jackknife. 3 tin openers. 2 buoy and rescue plates. 1 manual pump. 1 set of fishing tackle. 1 rust-proof graduated drinking vessel. 2 boat hooks. 1 food ration 10,000 km, person. 4 rocket parachute flares. 6 hand flares. 1 whistle. 1 set repair tools. 1 searchlight. Radar reflector. 2 PTA. 2 bailers.
Today I'm going to show you how a lifeboat works, the life-saving equipment inside, and, well, taste emergency ration. There's a 360 version that gives you a more interactive experience, so make sure to check it out afterwards. Do note that different ships have different types and size of lifeboats. There are tons of manufacturers out there and they all make different models, either open or totally enclosed, Davit launched or freefall. So if you're new to a ship, make sure to read the manuals on how to operate one. It might just save your life. Ours is a Davit launch type. The 2 cradles swings out and lower the lifeboat by fall wire when activated. Let's check out the inside first. We'll be going in from the aft hatch. As you can tell, the interiors aren't that comfortable. Everything is designed only for survival in mind, which is to fit as many people as possible. The space inside the boat is like an oval, with the center blocked off by structural reinforcements. The orange bits are padding and cushions. The lifeboat equipment is mostly stored under the seats in compartments. This is the command console, coning seat. Take a closer look at the control console. We have the engine ignition, steering wheel, throttle, compass, lights, hydrostatic hook release, and painter release. Underneath where I'm sitting is the diesel engine. Next to the seat is this remote wire that's connected to the brake governor. It's part of the system to lower the lifeboat, which you can do so from 2 locations, outside or inside the boat. No matter which way, first there's 3 securing pins that we must take out, 2 each on the cradle stoppers and 1 on the brake governor. From the outside, you can just lift up the brake governor and the cradle will swing out. If the seas are calm, you should release an embarkation ladder and climb down. Only in emergency situations should you ever jump into the water directly, because it's quite dangerous. You have to worry about debris, hypothermia, and swimming in rough seas. To lower from the inside, you can just pull onto the remote wire that I talked about, as it is connected to the brake governor. Either way, once the boat is in or near the water, activate the hydrostatic hook release and you're good to go. And now, onto the lifeboat equipment. The life-saving equipment are standard and found in most, if not all, lifeboats, because IMO enforces it under a SOLAS and LSA code. Let's start off with the most important one, Survival at Sea booklet. Under a real emergency situation, everyone will be panicking and draw a blank as to what to do. So once arrive at the lifeboat, first thing to do is open this book and start from here. It tells you step by step how to proceed and what to check for, like selecting a leader, assigning duties, checking that all hatches and opening are covered. Further down the book, you've even got what fish is edible, how to navigate by stars, and what birds is which. It really has everything you need to survive at sea. The designated rescue boat will have extra life jackets, immersion chutes, and a set of towing lines made of nylon. Seasick tablets. One of the first things that the Survival at Sea book will tell you is to distribute seasick pills and take one each. Throwing up inside the lifeboat affects everyone's well-being and morale, might even cause a chain reaction. Buoyant oars, for rowing in the event the engine runs out of fuel. Boat hooks. No, it's really just to grab things or lines. Sea anchor. This cone-shaped anchor helps stabilize the boat. Thermal protective aids. You wear this like a cocoon to keep warm. Inside our pyrotechnic box, we have rocket parachute flares, buoyant smoke signal, and hand flares. The instructions are all printed on the items. Flares are best used at night, smoke for daytime. Smoke and flares should be facing downwind to avoid blowback. Rocket parachute, obviously you should point it up. A lifeboat ration and water.
Ganda sa manok na no eh. You like? No, good ah. Yes, yes, good ah. Yeah. I like ah. Yeah, tasty. Actually, it's good.
Oh, I'm dying.
Milky cookie. Milky cookies.
Buoyant rescue quote. Toss it to a person in the water and pull them in. Fishing tackle to catch fish. Bailer to scoop water out if water gets into the boat. First aid kit. There's all kind of medical first aid items inside. Tin openers. Measuring cup to ration water. Dipper to grab water or sample the seabed. Hatchet to chop anything.
What's one?
Multi-purpose jackknife for multi-purpose.
You've thought of everything.
Torch and spare battery. Spare whistle. Seasick bags. Signaling mirror. There's a hole at the back that is actually see-through, so during daytime you point it at a ship and wiggle it around to reflect the sun ray. Hopefully it'll catch the attention of the target ship. Life-saving signal card. It's waterproof and ours comes in English and Chinese. Bucket. Radar reflector. It's often underestimated. This small aluminum thing can actually paint a target on radar as large as a 300-meter ship. Fire extinguisher, dry powder type. Rain collector. Stick this outside when it rains and it will funnel the water through the tube.
Gravity-type davits swing a lifeboat outward and lower it into the water. They consist mainly of a pair of frames, davit arms, a lashing device, boat falls, suspension blocks, and boat winches. The lifeboat is lowered at a constant speed, using its own weight, by operating either the remote control wire inside the lifeboat or the remote control lever on the ship's deck. Let us take a closer look at lowering and launching operations for totally enclosed lifeboats with gravity-type davits. Prepare a set of transceivers and confirm that communication is possible. Also confirm that the cable for the storage battery charge has been detached. Confirm attachment of the painter to the lifeboat's painter release device. The painter should be connected to the bit of the parent ship as far forward as practicable. Remove the overlashing wire ropes if fitted. Some vessels are not equipped with overlashing wire ropes. Overlashing wire ropes, once removed, should be kept together, but far enough away to prevent entanglement with the lifeboat. Tangling of the rope with the lifeboat could lead to a serious accident. The auto-trigger wire rope comes off automatically when the lifeboat is swung out. Pull out the safety pin to release the boat winch brake. Pull out the davit arm stop safety pins both fore and aft and release the stop by pulling down the handle in one continuous motion. Confirm that the remote control wire has been drawn into the lifeboat. Then open the access hatch and get on board.
Every seagoing vessel, whether it is a cargo or a cruise ship carrying passengers on board, has to carry lifeboats to ensure the safe evacuation of crew or passenger, in case of an emergency situation when the ship needs to be abandoned. Hoisting of the lifeboat is a necessary procedure, and releasing the lifeboat from the davit and falls is the last but the most critical process to detach the lifeboat from the ship during abandoned ship. There are different types of lifeboats used on board, on the basis of the type of ship, and other special requirements. The most common type of lifeboats used on ships are open lifeboat, enclosed lifeboat, and free-fall lifeboat. Not all the lifeboats have the same type of releasing mechanisms, for the launching of a lifeboat depends on several other factors. An enclosed lifeboat operated with davit is provided with onload and offload release mechanism. The onload release mechanism is designed to allow the release of the davit-launched lifeboat from fall wires when the ship is still making way through the water or in a rough sea. Onload and offload release mechanisms can be operated from inside the boat, which makes the operation much safer for the crew. The release mechanism is provided fore and aft of the lifeboat, carrying the fall wires from the davit. The lifeboat release assembly consists of 5 main systems: an operating lever, a clutch assembly with a safety system, Morse cables connected to release hooks, release hook, forward and aft, the offload release hydrostatic piston. If there is no rush to release the lifeboat, and the sea state is favorable, offload release is usually chosen. As the ship becomes waterborne, the water pressure will move the hydrostatic piston up. The piston is connected to the releasing handle via a link. The piston will continue to move up, pushing the lever. As a result, it will operate the hook arrangement releasing the fall wire. If the weather is rough or hydrostatic piston unit fails to operate, the on-load release method is chosen. First, the hydrostatic piston link is detached from the releasing handle by removing the locking pin. Once the handle is free, the operator can now pull the lever, which is connected to both the hooks, forward and aft via a clutch assembly. The hook assembly consists of the spring-loaded fall hook, which carries the fall wire, an amplifying arm, which controls the movement of the fall hook by locking it in the position against the spring, a cam-operated releasing lever or pin, which moves the amplifying arm and is connected to the Morse cables. When the lever is pulled, the Morse cables, whose ends are connected to the cam release pin, rotate the cam. This movement will unlock the amplifying arm and pushes it down. As the amplifying arm moves down, the hook which was locked and held in position becomes free and moves outward due to the spring force, releasing the fall wire it is carrying. Once the lifeboat is free from the hook, the crew must check that the fall is clear from obstructing the lifeboat any further. The painter wire fore and aft can be released from inside the lifeboat to make it completely free from the ship. Always ensure not to release the boat, which may lead to drop of the davit-launched lifeboat from the falls to the water, even from as little as 1 meter above the water, as there can be severe personal injuries and possible structural damage.
Now let's look at the free fall lifeboat system. All bulk carriers of 500 gross tonnage and upwards built on or after July 1st, 2006 are required to have a free fall lifeboat. Free fall lifeboats are placed at the ship's stern. In the event of an emergency, the crew board the lifeboat in its stowed position and then conduct a free fall launch. The launching operation can be performed from inside the lifeboat. The davit unit of a free-fall lifeboat consists mainly of a slide track, a davit arm, a pair of suspensions, a hydraulic cylinder, and a lashing device. The winch is composed of a wire drum, a hydraulic motor, speed reduction gear, and hydraulic brake gear. Prior to launch, make sure that the water surface is free of obstacles. Next, release the lashing line and confirm that the lashing plate has been released. The lashing plate will be released automatically once the lashing line is released. If the lashing plate is not released, release it manually using the attached nylon rope. Next, check that the battery charge cable has been detached. Then remove the release hook safety pin and open the rear hatch. The coxswain should confirm that all necessary launch preparations have been completed. The crew should then board the lifeboat from the rear hatch. Finally, the coxswain boards the lifeboat and closes the hatch tightly from inside. After everyone is on board, confirm that the boat's drain valve has been closed. All crew members should be seated, should fasten their seat belts, and should grasp the handrail on the seat in front of them. Do not forget to use the headrest belt if it is available. The operator should conduct a final check to confirm that all crew members have fastened their seat belts and that they have not put on life jackets. Then the operator may be seated and fasten his or her seatbelt. When doing so, please avoid touching the release lever. The operator starts the engine. Removes the release lever securing pin and closes the bypass valve. Pumping the release lever several times releases the main lashing, allowing the lifeboat to achieve free-fall launch. Once the launch has been completed, immediately leave the parent ship for a safer area. Never use a painter during a free-fall launch. In the event the hydraulic system does not function properly and emergency release is required, confirm that the bypass valve is open. Break the acrylic cover. Insert the emergency release handle and turn the emergency release bolt clockwise until it comes to a stop. The stopper of the main lashing will open and the lifeboat will be launched. When a free fall is not possible due to insufficient water depth or when the ship is in an inappropriate area for a free fall, it is possible to lower and launch the lifeboat using davit arms. When launch preparations have been completed and confirmed, switch on the hydraulic power pump. Operate the control lever to lower the traverse and subsequently remove the hook lashing lines. Attach the wire ropes to the suspension. Using the lever, position the davit arms just above the boat lifting position and adjust the fore and aft balance of the lifeboat. The crew members embark the lifeboat from the rear hatch, take their seats and fasten their seatbelts. Each member should grasp the handrail on the seat in front of them. The operator then boards the lifeboat and closes the hatch. The operator confirms that all crew members have fastened their seatbelts and then removes the pin securing the release lever and closes the bypass valve. Pumping the lever several times releases the release hook and removes the main lashing. After visually confirming that the main lashing has been released, the operator on the main ship shall use the control lever to swing the davit arms to the proper lowering position and then lower the lifeboat. When the boat is waterborne and has become well balanced, the operator on board the lifeboat shall indicate to the operator on the parent ship to stop lowering the boat. The operator on board shall remove the wire ropes used to suspend the boat and attach them to the plate provided. The boat engine can now be started. Immediately leave the area of the main ship. switch on the hydraulic power pack on the parent ship. The operator on deck uses the control lever to swing out the davit arms. Next, lower the suspensions to a height allowing the wire ropes for hanging the boat to be attached. These steps should be carried out under instruction from an operator on board the lifeboat. The operator on board the lifeboat attaches the wire ropes to the suspensions. After signaling to the operator on deck, the operator on board the lifeboat should be seated with seatbelt fastened and should stop the engine. The operator on deck confirms that the engine has been stopped and starts hoisting the boat. The movement of the traverse should be halted prior to coming into contact with the hinge block and the wire rope support. By operating the control lever, stow the davit arm to the boat set position. Station an operator on the platform. Stop the operation before the davit rear span and the boat come into contact. Using the control lever, lower the lifeboat until it is positioned on the roller. Raise and lower the lifeboat several times with the control lever, thus adjusting the stowed position until it is possible to attach the main lashing. Each operation should be implemented slowly and in concert with the signals provided by the operator stationed on the platform. Securely attach the main lashing to the release hook. After confirming that the main lashing is secure, the crew may disembark the lifeboat via the rear hatch. The operator on deck lowers the suspensions, detaches the wire ropes for hanging the boat, and attaches them to the plate provided. Using the control lever, move the davit arms to the stowing position. Although the davit arm stops moving when it comes into contact with the arm support, keep an eye on the davit arm during this operation. Attach the hook lashing lines to the suspensions. Set the lashing line. The lashing plate is set automatically once the lashing lines are attached. Turn off the power pack.
Unfortunate realities with on-load release gear systems is accidents caused by their incorrect use has led to more casualties than saving of lives by use of lifeboats. The hook assembly forward and aft, which consists of the following main parts: hook, amplifying arm, which locks the hook, cam release pin. The moving cam release pin pushes the spring-loaded external lug of the amplifying arm down. The rotating cam release pin inside the plates frees the amplifying arm, which is locking the hook. The amplifying arm is now free and allows the hook to release the fall.